Hey Simlies, it is Deligracy here with a speed build for you to celebrate reaching 5,000 subscribers. I know I said in my last video a big thank you to all of you, but just in case some of you didn't see that, thank you so much for your support, and I wouldn't be here without each and every one of you, so thank you so much. You guys are awesome. But anyway, I have chosen to do a kind of a contemporary / modern build in the town of Bridgeport, or the world of Bridgeport, which is one of my favorite worlds in The Sims 3. I think it is glorious. I love the high-rise buildings and the water, and this house is actually built kind of over the Bridgeport Bridge in the more wealthy, affluent area of the world, kind of in the hills. But yeah, basically I just start off this build by getting a very vague idea of the kind of layout I wanted to go with. I don't know, it's kind of a weird way to go about building because this house actually has a lot of split levels. So the way I go about this is I make the floor plan, and then I also put a roof on the floor plan. But then after that, I remove the roof, and then to create those split levels, I actually go up, I think, 4 levels, tracing over this initial floor plan that I've done. But you'll see that in a little while because that probably just made absolutely no sense. But anyway, this is going to be a very long build. This is the first video of 2. This is most of the build, and the next video will be mostly just furnishing. There's a little bit of building in the next one as well, but it's more going back to certain things to suit the interior a little bit better. But yeah, to begin with, this house, the roof starts off really, really flat, and that's kind of just because I'm starting out and just wanting to get a feel for it. But in the end, there is more of a proper roof, and the exterior colors completely change from the first ones we use. So you'll see the first kind of look that we go for, which is completely changed. But one of the reasons why this video did take so long, or this build took so long, is because I had to come back to it a lot this week. Just because I had other commitments, and because I kept coming back to it, I kept changing my mind. And you know, when you go back to things with fresh eyes and you're like, oh, I don't know, I think I could have done this better if I did it this way or this way, and pretty much that's what I did for a lot of things. So that's why it is so long. Also, there is a lot of saving that's going on in this as well. And actually, this first save, the reason I did that is because I wanted to replace the lot and rotate it, which I did because I wanted it to be a different orientation, which I preferred this orientation. And I think it looks really nice in the end once it's finished. I was actually really happy with this build. It's a very unique build in terms of furnishing, and the fact that it does have so many split levels. I really did that to enable some unique furnishing, and I'm not sure what you guys are going to think of that, so I'll leave that up to you in the comments. But I guess I wanted to do something a little bit experimental, just for the sake of it being a bit of a milestone for my channel. So I don't know, you might pick up some tips that you might want to use in your own builds, or something like that. But anyway, just filling out the roof area here. Initially, I wanted to put like a pool that kind of crept halfway underneath the roof there where the columns are. But in the end, I was thinking that just kind of used up valuable room space for the interior. So I actually do fill that gap in, and I think I try and put the pool under the other gap as well. But likewise, I did the same thing and used that room for interior space as well. I love the overhanging roofs in this build. I think they're really cool, and they kind of fold over in sections, they look like they've been kind of folded over the edge of the build, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you can see I'm playing around a lot here with the shape of the house. I really wanted to see what the exterior would look like at this stage. I didn't really care about the interior. That's why there's a lot of roofing going on and a lot of walls just kind of being chucked everywhere, just to kind of see what I want the exterior to look like, and where I wanted the entrance door to be. But yeah, you kind of get an idea of the initial aesthetic The roof stays flat for a really long time, but don't worry, we do change that. And it does have kind of more of an arched roof in the end. And there will be screenshots at the very end of this video. Actually, no, at the end of the next video, because this is 2 parts. The reason why it's 2 parts, I was I posted on Twitter that I was going to be doing a build, and I asked, well, once I started doing the build, I said that it was quite long, and if it would be better if I just, you know, kind of chopped it up and edited it a bit down, so you saw, you know, some different parts of the build and then mostly furnishing, or if you guys wanted to see all of it in 2 sections, and you guys asked for 2 parts. So 2 parts, of course, I went for, and that is why it is not a single build video. So I'll be releasing the other half soon, probably really soon after this, definitely. And I haven't named this house yet, so I will name that. I will name it in the next part. 2-part speed build. But anyway, yeah, you can see the floor plan here kind of taking form. Again, there's a lot of walls just whacked in randomly just for the sake of being able to check out what the roofing's doing. But yeah, this pool is being deleted now, or at least a section of it. And I kept getting these windows out from the dance studio. I was like, oh, maybe I could put them in the pool and it could be like this pool feature, even though that looks hideous. I gave it a go. But I have that cube sitting there for so long because I was really set on using it somehow, but it never really took off that idea. So it just sits there as a nice lawn ornament, if you like. So yes, we can admire that sitting there for a while. Putting some of the rooms in. This is really fast. I realize this is still really fast, even though of course it's gonna pause as I say that. What do they call that? Murphy's Law, I think that's the saying. But I hope after exporting it's not too bad and it's still watchable. But again, this video I think goes for like 30 minutes or over 30 minutes. If I slowed this down anymore, it would be like a 50-minute video, and there's still another half to go. So hopefully you can get the general gist of what is going on in this, so you can see the whole thing take place. And of course, now I begin removing those roofs, and I think we're going to start the split leveling in a second. I think, or not quite. I'm painting for a while, doing the wall painting. Apparently it's really hard to paint walls in a nice way, like it's a bit of a skill, I've heard, but I haven't actually ever had to paint walls before, so interesting stuff. Saving again. I was having a bit of trouble with the game crashing. I'm not sure if you guys will actually notice in the game crashing, but some weird stuff was just happening. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's because I had a lot of other programs running while I was running The Sims, or it was definitely whenever I was using Creator Style a lot, which I do use Creator Style a lot. We do know this. So that's why I am really onto saving it. And here we are making these split levels. We've just made 1 level and we're tracing it over the top. For the next split level. I think there's 4 split levels in total, which was fun to work with in terms of interior. So lowering it down there with the staircase. If you don't know about this cheat, it's called the Constrained Floor Elevation False Cheat, and it's very useful for changing the height of your walls. There's plenty of tutorials about, particularly from the Sim Supply. His YouTube channel has fantastic tutorials, and that is where I learned how to build from. So check it out if you haven't, but I think most of you would have, because he probably introduced most of you to my channel in any case. And putting in the rooms here, tracing them out again for the next level. It's kind of fun watching this. It looks like a maze being drawn. I actually used to work at a maze, like a massive maze place where they have lots of mazes, and we had like this maze that was a cornfield maze, and it was created once a year for a few weeks of the year, And my gosh, it was so big, and my job was to go fetch people who were stuck. So I had no idea how to get out of the maze, and I had to pretend like I knew what I was doing, which I didn't. But in the end, I don't know how I did it, but I ended up figuring out how to get people out of there, even though they were probably thinking, does this girl know what she's doing? Good times, good times. I also did spray on tattoos, and that was really fun. I got to do that with an airbrush. Actually, I think I might use some airbrushing in an upcoming project now I think of that. But anyway, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about this build. Oh gosh, we're rambling. It's actually kind of late here. It's like 2 a.m, so I'm a little bit tired. And it's really, really cold. I'm wrapped up in a blanket, in my fairy blanket. And I mean, it's really not that cold, probably from where half of you are from, where it's probably still snowing. It's probably about 10 degrees here, so I shouldn't really be complaining. But yeah, this side of the house is interesting. I decided to kind of do cutouts on the wall, utilizing those split levels there that we've been creating. And I seal it up again, and I actually come back to that at the end because I didn't know if I did want to use that as a kind of walkway or not. But we do use it as a walkway in the end. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, and getting rid of some walls here, still figuring out the shape of the house. As you can see, this is quite a lengthy process deciding what I wanted to do. And I don't know, in my other aspects of life, I work very, very quickly and very, very speedily in lots of things. But when it comes to Sims, I like to take my time. I like to try out different things. It's kind of like exercising your creativity, I guess. Well, for me, The Sims is just that, like I guess an outlet for creativity and thought processes. Wow, this is sounding very like educational right now. An educational build. But I don't know. That's why I play The Sims. Why do you guys play The Sims? Do you like storylines? Do you find it exercises creativity as well? I read once that The Sims uses the same psychological, I guess, processes as children use when playing with a dollhouse. So it's kind of an extension of your brain as it works when you're a child or something like that. I read it somewhere. I don't know how legit that is, but I thought it was interesting in any case. And of course, I've made this kind of fence here, again, utilizing those split levels we've created. So it kind of has a gap in it. That would be really nice for kind of hedges and foliage to poke through that gap. And yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And also putting in some extra holes and cutouts around the place here as well. It's all about the walls in this and making them really unique and kind of, I suppose they're maze-like. They kind of wrap around and have holes in them and stuff like that, which is cool. And once we get the split levels in, there's a lot of little staircases going up and down. Here is Spotify. We're just having a quick glance there. I was going to edit all of that out, but to be honest, going through the footage actually takes a long time to edit pieces like that out. You guys might not notice that, but I used to black it out, but I know that was frustrating when the screen just goes black. So I figured, you know what, I'll just leave it in there. Hopefully it's not too annoying. But yeah, this exterior was originally red, as I said. Red, white, and black windows, which haven't appeared yet, and this kind of grey, heavy stone exterior. I changed this just because when I started the interior was looking really light and really, really light and almost a little bit feminine, and I felt like this exterior, as much as I loved it, was very, very harsh. In terms of color, the contrast is very, very strong. Red, white, and black are awesome colors though. I think they're really cool. So that does get changed to kind of a more olive green and a much more softer exterior. Right now it's very, very harsh, very angular. But I still like it at this stage in any case. And of course you can see that I'm trying to flatten out the, I had to shuffle then, flatten out some of the terrain, which there are no floor tiles there, because in the end, to fix that, I decided I would just keep it as terrain, just as grass, put a wall in front of it, and then in that wall put into the future big glass panel windows, and behind those windows I actually put a garden, so it's like an indoor garden, which I thought was really cool. But at the end, even though I did all of that mucking around with CFE, as you can see here, it miraculously just flattened itself out, so I could have just extended the room as per usual. But you know, I guess when you come across things that are glitchy in the game or that don't work how you want them to, it's actually a blessing, because then you are kind of, I guess, you were challenged to make use of that and to try and fix it, and you often come up with really unique things. So I think it's kind of cool when that happens. At least that's the optimistic way of looking at it. Don't get me wrong, sometimes things happen and it's an absolute crisis. I'm like, oh my lord, oh, what am I gonna do? But this time it worked out for the best, so that's a good thing. And this is a garage here. You can see the area where we're deleting the wall. That's where the car would be parked in front of. I was gonna do a double garage on the next section, but I didn't end up doing that because I wanted to put a garden there, I think. Here we are putting in the windows for the indoor garden, and there are some plants that I actually almost forgot to put into the video at the end, but I do put those in. I also forgot to put toilets in the parents' ensuite, which was a little bit orkies. Oh, there is a storyline behind the occupants of this build. Basically, it's a mum and dad who are very seasoned travelers. So I imagine that they would have gone to the World Adventure destinations in their time, because there's a lot of kind of artifacts and whatnot throughout the house. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of paintings. So they're kind of that, you know, well-seasoned travelers who love a bit of reading and history and whatnot. And they have two little boys who have the cutest room, which we're just putting windows onto right now. A magical little children's room, which I wish I had when I was a child, when I was a wee little one. It's pretty cool, but you'll see that later in the furnishing half of this video. And I also like how these windows are kind of risen up higher than the ground level, as you can see here, that we're working on, because it allows privacy from the main road there. Like, people can't just look in because they're up higher. And I love the city line behind the house. Oh, it's so pretty seeing those high rises in the sky. I'm not sure if we'll see them again, but I thought that was pretty. Also, this actual build, not the furnishing, but the build, is base game only. All of the windows, except I have used into the future windows for that indoor garden bit, which is kind of like the exterior, you could classify it as. So yeah, if you do download this house and you don't have all the expansion packs, which I don't expect many people to have, you can download it and put it in your town and purchase it unfurnished, and it will still work really nicely. So that's a good thing. But I will be, I know I keep saying it, but I am planning to be doing builds with only certain expansion packs, or just a base game expansion pack. It's base game expansion pack. It's the base game, not an expansion pack. My bad. But I am wanting to do that. That's something that's definitely coming. Lots of people ask for that, and I think base game builds are really fun because you're so challenged because there's just not a lot you can use in it. So yeah, pretty cool. I went through a stage and I was like, I'm not going to buy any Sims expansion packs, and I'm just going to play the game from the base game, because I didn't want to buy into materialism. I was going through one of those stages when you're like, I'm not going to be materialistic, but then I ended up getting all of them because I just love The Sims and I couldn't help it. But yes, true story. Heart-moving story. Anyway, also I've layered all the windows here. You can probably see that using the Move Objects On cheat. Layering them, because it is a split level house, you need to do that. Otherwise, sections of the windows would be blocked out by the wall. So That is why they're layered, and I think it gets a really nice effect. Because of the split levels, this house has very high walls, very high ceilings, and with those beautiful big layered windows, it lets in lots of natural light. But there are those kind of halo lights, rectangular halo lights here that you can see, and that is because when you're working with split levels, there's a lot of difficulty controlling the light source coming through the windows. So those are invisible when you're in live mode. They don't come up, but you can see them in buy mode. So they're just there for that purpose. And they also allowed me not to have to put in too many actual object lights, which is kind of handy. But still, of course, with split leveling, there will always be some inconsistencies on the wall in terms of color. You'll notice that, and it just comes with the game. It's actually really hard to fix. But hopefully those invisible lights have helped. Well, they have helped a little bit, so that's good. And working on the lounge room here, I just chucked in those couches just to get an idea of space that I had to work with. Originally, I was going to do kind of a risen kitchen, which we're putting in a second, I think. But it's actually turned into the dining room, and what was going to be just a little study nook area above that staircase in the left-hand corner, that actually gets extended back into an elongated kitchen. So I thought that was quite nice. My phone is going off. Apologies. And as it always does when I'm recording, I really need to do something about that. Trying out the Into the Future hedge here, but didn't like that, so we don't do that. And this is a kid's room with this split level area in it. I thought it was really cute. I can't wait to show you guys that part in the next video. The furnish is really, really sweet. I definitely like the furnishing part more than the build part, just because I'm a slow builder and it takes me a long time to construct what I want. But furnishing just seems to come a lot more more easily to me. But I do kind of envy you guys that are builders who can build so quickly. I'm like, oh, if only I could build as quick, I could do so much more. But yeah, those floating black things that we kind of see when we go up to the roof level, they appear as you're using constraint floor elevation cheat. Just randomly, they're kind of visual glitches, and when you rotate the camera, they can disappear. I kind of was getting frustrated with those a lot because they were appearing heaps, but you don't have to worry about that. They disappear in their own time, or after you've clicked through a few things, they'll disappear, which is a good thing because you wouldn't want that on top of your roof at all, because they're really scary because you think you've screwed up your whole house. But they do disappear so long as you have taken care of everything beneath them, that everything's leveled out as it should be. They will go away. Putting in the front door here, and this is pretty much the exterior look of the house, except all the colors change, of course. And listening to a few tunes here again. I don't know what I'm doing. I must be thinking about something, making some decisions there. What do you guys do when you build? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to Spotify like I do? YouTube videos? I love listening to YouTube while doing YouTube. It's so inspiring if you're listening to someone building while you build. I think it's awesome. It's pretty cool. And yeah, here I think I originally thought I was putting in the kitchen there, but no, that turns out to be a risen dining area. And I like those kind of square rectangular, that's not even a word, rectangular windows they put in there, and this big kind of cutout in the roof line there. So it kind of looks like the roof is folded over the edge there, which is kind of cool. I thought, again, lots of walls that kind of intertwine and a kind of a maze-like orientation in this build, which is kind of cool. Putting in some windows there above the indoor garden, and I think we're getting to the fireplace now. Yeah, I had this idea that I wanted to do like a fireplace that was risen or I guess, kind of enclosed within a glass cabinet, which it kind of works. But I also utilized the chimney as a range hood over the stovetop. So I kind of remove the bottom section of it and just have that top bit. And that actually gets moved across to another area, which is the kitchen, a bit later. And here we are beginning the fireplace, putting in some, originally I was going to use half walls, but that looked kind of dodgy in my opinion, a little bit dodgy. So we actually go back using CFE with the walls, changing the heights of them, fixing up all of that glitching. There's the big kind of black bat thing. I guess we can call it the bat, the dreaded bat that sits on top of your houses. It's just, ugh, I don't like it. But putting in the fireplace here, and I've actually used floor tiles as a means of, as a way to create shelving and storage, because I love that, because floor tiles, you can place objects anywhere on them, whereas shelves, you can only place them in certain areas on the shelf. So you can see here the fireplace is kind of enclosed, but the problem is I thought the fireplace was switched on kind of like a light in The Sims, whereby they don't actually have to go up to the fireplace and light it. So the lights, they just switch on. But in actual fact, I realized when I player tested the house, the Sim actually does need to walk up to the fireplace to light it. So yeah, the fireplace gets lowered onto the ground level in a little while. But I was kind of experimenting with paintings and whatnot, where the position of it is at the moment, and putting some doors in here, thinking that would look cool as cabinets, but then I realized it didn't look that cool. It looked a little bit over the top in actual fact, so I get rid of them, keep the shelving as it is, and now we're putting in some doors using CFE, so that always glitches up the walls a little bit. They kind of have to raise up into I think it's called a trapezium shape. I think. I've kind of forgotten, but yeah. And this is the kids' room, and there's a little hidey hole cubby underneath the ground level, which I thought was really cool, where I use cushions from Sims 3 Generations, which is really kind of funky to lounge about on. And putting in some shelves here in what is the master bedroom, I believe. Yeah. So I was creating this shelf that was going to go along the wall that the bed would sit in front of. I mean, you see these, I'm sure you guys have seen this in a lot of modern houses, they do this. And yeah, I kind of create a shelving unit, which is kind of a little bit snazzy behind the bed, which I like. And here I am basically just creating it. And doing some more roofing with CFE. You know, this probably took so long because the CFE work was very annoying. Actually, this makes more sense now why it took so long, because all those split levels and shelving take a long time to kind of knuckle down on and get it together, I guess. But yeah, that bed is just there to get an idea of space and size, so that bed completely changes. And yeah, again, adding in a doorway here. Very important for your Sims to get around in. And I will say that this is a player-tested house. So I've made sure that Sims can go up all the stairs or the split levels and get to things like the fireplace and whatnot and into bed. And I had fun with this shelf here. I kind of made a separate section where I thought a vase could go or something like that. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I guess it's unique. This build is unique in the way that there are floor tiles as shelving, and in order to do that, I needed to have a lot of split levels. So there is a lot of grid action going on here, which does make it a little bit difficult to view. But it's I don't know, I still think it's cool. I think it's really fun to kind of push the boundaries of what at least I've seen in The Sims 3 and kind of use split leveling to my advantage in interior decoration. So that's why I did that. That is why. And actually, there are 2 more Into the Future windows in this walkthrough section. So there are 2 windows there from Into the Future that if you don't have Into the Future, that would be replaced by another window that you have if you were to download this house. But it's still downloadable, of course. And fixing up more of the doorway there, that's going to be a little ensuite. And it is a very nice ensuite, I will say. I think definitely when I have a house of my own, which I will at some point, when I'm fully working and a successful something or other, I want to have a his and a her bathroom, so separate bathrooms, one for her and one for him. I just think that would be such an awesome thing to have, just your own private bathroom, and that's what I'm gonna do. I think. I don't know if that's weird, but I think it's pretty cool. Maybe a little bit over the top, but you know, sometimes it's good to be a little bit crazy, as quoted by Seal. Again, working with CFE, getting that roof to come down again, and making a little walkway path there, which is kind of a nice thing to take a stroll around your backyard. Although I do extend the pool here, so that walkway does get altered in a little while. Yeah, and whenever I do pools, I always do these dark blue tiles around the edge and on the ground. I don't know, it's just a habit of mine. You've probably seen it in my other videos. Actually, I won't say always, but 80% of the time I do that for the pool. It's just the pool that works for me. Everyone has their own little things about the game where you have to do something every time. Like, I don't know, some people need to have toilet rolls next to the toilet, which I don't actually need that in my builds. And other people have to have curtains on every window, but curtains frustrate me so much because they don't fit every window. They only fit certain windows and certain styles, and it just sometimes it drives me nutty. But yeah, and building up the wall here, making a nice kind of sectional wall hanging off the edge there that goes into the pool. And this pool area, I wanted to create a feature in it, which I really mucked around for a long time. I don't know if I show you guys all of the mucking around because it was just annoying, but I do put those windows in and some of these kind of lily pads, which I thought were quite cute. So it's kind of got one area that's growing, and then the rest is the pool that you would swim in. I also put some fish spawners into that area as well, so hopefully there's little fishies swimming around in the pool, kind of like a fish tank area, and some rocks down the bottom too, to make it look nice and I don't know, nice and underwatery or something like that. And for some reason I tried putting trees in the bottom. Don't ask me why, because that just looks ridiculous. I don't know why I did that. I have such an itchy chin. Sorry. I'm getting a little bit fatigued now, I have to say. But we're almost at the end of this. If you have watched all of this, well done. But yeah, looking forward to releasing the furniture part of this. It's the exciting part for me anyway. And yeah, working on the exterior here, putting some more fencing in, kind of trying to stack the fences using the split levels, which I don't end up doing, but still a really interesting look about it in any case. And then trying out using some of the Into the Future windows, which those windows are fantastic. I love the Into the Future build features. And also Into the Future landscaping is really good. I use a lot of that in this build as well. Yeah, and then in goes the rocks into the bottom of the pool. Thought that was pretty cool. And then to see the little fishies in there. I mean, I assume because I put a spawner in there it'll work, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We shall see. And I definitely oh yeah, here we go. This is the fish spawners going in. I think they will work. I think they will. Yeah. I don't know. And putting the Into the Future hedge here, but I don't use that whole hedge in the end. But anyway, we're getting to the end of the video now. This, as I said, the exterior colors completely change in the next part. They are really completely different. So you haven't really seen the whole build yet. I guess you've just seen the floor plan and the interior, what that looks like in the pool. But the actual front of the house looks different with a different roof, different colors as well. So definitely wait to check that out. I hope this wasn't too sped up. I know it's difficult to watch. But anyway, thanks for subscribing, and I will speak to you guys soon.